All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, August 9th, 2021. Doing this video a little early as there's really not much going on. You can see the spiders kind of just chopping in this range here. Looks like a potential Monday OPEX pin. VXX coming in, so short-term volatility is decreasing here in the near term. And yeah, markets are just going to hold up as we are in the basically dog days of August. Just 29 million shares traded on the SPY, almost approaching 3 o'clock, so very, very light volume. So let's just quickly talk about gold here again. Obviously, we got to talk about it. So gold bouncing, and at one point, if we look at the intraday here, at one point it looked like it was going to consolidate and make a run at this pivot. Now, if we reclaim the 1760, well, call it 1762 handle, 1762, 1763, that area, it would actually be short-term very bullish, and it actually could be basically, you could call this basically stop loss hunting, a shakeout, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that would be super bullish. I did hear that SD Bullion, one of the major bullion dealers, they had about 200 random year coins in stock yesterday morning, and they were completely out of stock by the evening. So that tells you that somebody probably knew something was going to happen. So I'm thinking that there was some type of margin that was going on here. Somebody got over levered, and based on Friday's close, they had to dump, or it could have just been a routine paper price smash. One or the other, regardless. Very bearish price action near term. But if it reclaims that area, this pivot from Friday, or this low from Friday, that would be short-term bullish. If it doesn't, it probably continues flushing. We talked about some levels last night. You have the 50% retrace, which is also your breakout. So that would be very strong support. You also have 200 moving average there on the weekly. So if we head lower, that's where we'd be going. And silver, kind of the same deal, although silver's holding up much better. Still holding the upper, really 25% of this move, and pretty much just kissed the 100 moving average on the weekly. So silver holding up a little bit better than gold here. But in any case, metals getting hit, and this does seem limited to the metals. Again, copper, watch this trend line also. So there's potential head and shoulders on copper, so keep an eye on that as well. But metals getting hit pretty much exclusively. As we can see, the dollar is higher today, but it's not like it's breaking out to new highs. It's not like it's ripping higher. And yields also higher, but again, not a ridiculous move for yields. So it does seem isolated to the precious metals. And speaking of the dollar index, if it takes this pivot out, which it looks like we are going to confirm above this trend line today. If we close above this high, that will be confirmation. If we take out this high here, dollar's going right up to 94.50, just so you guys know. And that may actually trigger some response from the equity markets, which have basically ignored this entire move in the dollar. And really up until now, as you can see, the spider's just making new all-time highs. But if it takes this pivot out, I think the markets will respond, because if it takes this pivot out, this pivot will be minor resistance, as you've already kind of pulled back from that when you came into this area here. So this would be minor resistance, and it would probably run right up to 94.32, and ultimately 94.66, 94.65 or so would be your major area of resistance on the dollar index. Speaking of major and minor support, let's just flip over to Bitcoin really quick. We're just going to look on TradingView. So I talked about this 200 moving average over the weekend being minor because we pulled back into it. And now Bitcoin getting above that. Bitcoin probably has upside to 50,000, and it may even want to come and test this, back test this breakdown trend line. So that's upsloping. So wherever it goes when price gets there would be where the resistance is. See, but it's upsloping, so we don't know where it would be when it gets there. But if and when it does, it'll be resistance. Just keep that in mind. Again, sentiment in Bitcoin is getting really bullish here. So again, this could be another little fake out here. So just be careful for that, because if the markets roll over, everything's going to roll over. And there is a ton of leverage in crypto. So just be aware of that. I don't have a position in Bitcoin right now, so just, full disclosure, because I know you crypto guys are going to like rip me apart for saying anything bearish about Bitcoin, but just wanted to make that clear. Anyways, we'll flip back over to the equities here. All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about Peloton. So I've been looking at Peloton lately. You guys know that. Actually had a nice little inside bar here, consolidation, broke out intraday a little bit, but we're really looking at the weekly time frame. I'm trying to be as patient as I can with this one. I want to get it a buy signal on the weekly. I'm looking for that, and I'm not going to chase it higher, but if it gives me that weekly buy signal, I will jump on this. Another name I like right now is Budweiser. This one's actually coming into some serious support here at about the 60 or 61 handle. So this is looking pretty good to me here for a swing long as well. So that one's on the radar. And also Zoom, which we traded, we took 14% on this a few weeks ago, or actually last week. And yeah, we got in at about 352 and we dumped right into this strength here. Now it's pulling back. If it gives us a little bit more consolidation, I have no problem jumping back in on Zoom here for a move up to potentially 500. That's really where the measured move would take you. It actually takes you up to about 530, but 500 should be good resistance as well. But and speaking of our other plays, Snowflake, we're still holding. This is behaving really well. We took profits on half of this last week, and we're just letting the rest run. We have a measured move to 305. So this one's just acting really well, and we're in the driver's seat on that, and we're just going to continue to ride this one out as long as it stays strong. Really quickly, I want to talk about energy. So let's just look at the XLE. So we looked at yield earlier. Yield's up 2%, and that should be good for energy stocks, but XLE down 1% today. Now, nothing crazy here, but the fact that it's negative while you have XLF making almost a new all-time high, you know, Goldman, new all-time high, you know, the bank stocks, JP Morgan's up. It's showing some weakness here, and with the same thing with the IWM, Russell 2000. Showing a little bit of weakness. Russell's negative today with the yield higher. So some of these plays are getting tired here, but the banks are still holding up, so we'll respect that for now. Crude testing this pivot here, and so far it's holding, but if it takes this pivot out, you're going right down to this pivot here, which would be at about 61.60, and then again down here to about 57.50 or so. So you guys know I've had those levels on this chart for a while, and I think we probably get there at this point. Crude looks like it wants to go lower. So just bear that in mind if you are long these energy names. I would do something to protect yourself, hedge, or take profits or something of that nature, because crude's not acting well right now when it should be with the yield up. Let's just quick touch back over to some of the financial stocks. These are names here. So the KBE, which is a larger bank ETF, this one will run into resistance at 53. And if it gets in there a certain way, I may take a shot at this. Maybe if it gets up to 54, I may take a shot on the short side on this. Possibly the KRE, which will have resistance at about 68 and about 69. So the financials are holding up well in the meantime, and we'll just continue to respect that for now. Let's just see, moving on. Moderna. So a lot of people have been talking about Moderna here. This is actually just insane, up 17% today. I would like to say that this is a blow off top, but you could also have made a case of this being a blow off top, this being a blow off top, this being a blow off top. Just completely parabolic, and this is being gamma squeezed to all hell. So this is just option traders basically having their way with this thing, and all I can think of is which fund is going to be the next Archegos when this thing crashes, because this thing's going to come down. It's just a matter of time. All parabolic moves do. And I mean, this really just reminds me of Viacom in February. I mean, February, March, look at that, and epic collapse there. And I just want to know which funds are actually exposed to this thing, because this is just levered to all hell. But yeah, crazy stuff going on here in the VAX names. But anyways, I think that's about all I wanted to cover for today. Yeah, we're just going to keep an eye on volatility. Volatility, actually, VXX is lower, but the VIX is actually green today. So short-term futures are pricing in a dull market, but the medium long-term futures are a little bit green here. So just bear that in mind as we enter the slow part of the summer and we get closer to September. But anyways, you guys take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.